Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Erica Plez, and welcome back to the Intercollegiate Marching Band Roundtable, Episode 2 with Tyrese Leverty. Without further ado, here we go.
So I know that the Black Lives Matter movement, first off, has been around for not just this past summer, but for a very long time. But the George Floyd shooting definitely was an eye opener. So I know that right now, a lot of people would speak out and say that there's inequality and racism in the marching arts. But do you think that that was the case before then? I know personally for me, I definitely do think that there was a lot of inequality and racism in the marketing arts before the whole George Floyd shooting and everything. But I think that the shooting shined a light on it and brought about it a little bit more. It made people more willing to open up and say, okay, you know what? Enough is enough. So now I want to talk about it. Now I want to talk about my experiences and things like that. I think that racism and inequality has always been in the marching arts, but I just feel like people were just quiet about it. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, these are excellent questions, and I hope that I have the
Thank
ability
you.
to answer them. Yeah, of course. What I would say to that is, of course, this is so deep-rooted that all of this goes back hundreds of
Yeah.
years, if not, farther than that. Well beyond anyone I'm sure that is living today. But it's something that, just like I hope that we're able to teach positive things and to
Right.
enlighten people, it's this taught behavior that has passed down through generations. And so I do agree with you. I think that a lot of this has been prevalent for a long time, particularly, taking a lens into the marching band community. Like I said, it is rooted in Black culture in the South, and
Right.
and still is. It's a vibrant part of the South, and being on the other side of the country of that, I'm so grateful to have that experience, because
Right, for
it even
sure.
at times for me makes me feel like I have part of my half of my roots being a mixed child. So yeah,
Right.
I think that's something that for me the biggest thing was that feeling of belonging. I'm so exceptionally grateful for my professor and my assistant director of bands, both of them. We have a director who is, if not definitely one of the only women directors for a marching band around the nation, which
Oh
is
wow.
incredible. And she's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I could not imagine anyone else in that program. I give her my highest respects, my highest regards and esteems.
Yeah,
And then
that's
our
awesome.
assistant director is a Black man. And so I think that when you
That
paired
is
those two
awesome.
together, yeah, it was an incredible place to be during all of
Right.
this. And to know that, yes, for me, marching band, the biggest thing was looking around and seeing, wow, I'm one of, if not the only student whose color of skin matches my own in this huge
Right.
band, even within a large and diverse metropolitan area. I think that
Hmm.
it is that level of access that I think we really struggle with today as a marching band community, and even just the music community in general, where that's I think where our largest growth area is. But I
Right.
haven't experienced a ton of that personally.
Well, I know that, we have, like, I know you were saying that you're on the diversity um committee for next year, and I know I'm doing it right now. And like I said before, we have like the surveys that we're currently sending out to our members and their parents if they want to do that, trying to have them introduce, instead of just saying, "Hi, I'm Erica, my favorite color is red," blah, 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 hi, do things that are kind of explaining themselves a little bit more. So, talking about the pronouns and you introduce yourself and things like that. So, with all that being said, what other changes do you think need to be brought about in the marching arts? Like, I know that, the main thing is to educate. We need to educate everybody about what's going on and how we can make change, or how we can at least have steps of moving forward from to get over all of this. Because I mean, yes, Corona has stopped, has put a standstill on everything, but the Black Lives Matter movement, this George Floyd shooting, like all of that, that's also a thing that is still very prevalent. So even like the gay rights, marriages, and everything right now that's going on with like the presidency, like there's just so many different things that affect our marching arts and our different. There's so many different people. Like, what do you think that some, like I said, what are some of the changes that you think would bring about change?
You know, I think change is always, or the change that we're looking for is always going to be one step outside of our grasp. And what I mean by that is that, like, we always mention this is what our marching band, or these are the things that are impacting our marching band community, or these programs across the country, however you'd like to phrase that. But I think in that phrasing, a lot of people lose that it's about the individuals, right? The people make the marching band community. The people are out there marching, or doing sabres, or whatever that it might be, doing percussion. So that's always something that will change. I mean, new people are born and new people enter the activity every single year, and we love that. It's incredible.
Bring them on. Let's continue to grow the activity.
Absolutely. So right now, you know, I think the people that are suffering are those marginalized and minority communities, people like myself who are not white. Yes, I am male for sure, but I'm also part of the LGBTQIA community. So there are a lot of different layers that you might not even see as well for people that it's making it tough. And in that being tough for me right now, and also having that identity of being a marching band student, that's something that you have to be cognizant of and recognize. So yeah, you know, talking about Minnesota specifically, we recognize that, and we did a lot of education work and a lot of diversity conversations. And I think the biggest pullaways from that work that we did this past year was either people were uncomfortable talking about a lot of these issues, and they were used to that either being someone else's discussion, or just not even recognizing that was a need that needed to be discussed.
Yeah, that's the thing. So many people, they don't realize, like, oh my God, I never realized that you had to go through this. I never realized that you went through this. I never realized that this happens to you on a regular basis. And then for people like myself, or, you know, even you, it's like, yeah, this happens on a regular, like, you know, this is how we live. This is our life. And like you said, when you add on all these other layers of being in a marching band or being in color guard, you know, whatever the case may be, being an LGBT, you know, all of that stuff, it's just, you have to care. You know what I'm saying? You have to care about people. You have to respect people with all of their layers, you know, with everything that they have going on. So I agree for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's one thing that I'm really proud of us for recognizing and taking that first step this past year. But we, of course, want to do more in this upcoming year. So that'll be one part of that, like history and education. And even we decided recognizing that a lot of the music that we play has its cultural roots in people that are, you know, these huge, like Aretha Franklin, these huge icons from Black culture, right? And that we wanted to pay some homage and recognize, like, hey, this is the story of this person, right? This is their legacy, more than just using them for their music only. And respecting them in that way. So we're doing that leg. We're doing recruitment and outreach, which we don't see as the same thing, to make sure that we're reflecting internally the external community in which we exist, so that there aren't many other people like myself that enter a band community and say, this doesn't, one, look like my university, or two, just doesn't look like, you know, how I want this community to look like. This doesn't reflect who I am as an individual. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. And then we're also recognizing that, well, yes, we are focusing today a lot on race relations and diversity in that term. We understand that a huge part of people's inability and inaccessibility to marching band is actually funds and their finances. And so a large other part of what we're doing is actually working with scholarships and fundraising to make sure that
that's awesome.
Access the marching
band. Yes,
marching,
because marching arts is expensive now.
Thank you guys so much for watching my episode 2 with Tyrese and myself on the Intercollegiate Marching Band Roundtable. I'll see you guys back for episode 3. Bye.